Yo, what's going on, man? Another late night show. It is April the 6th, and it's about 1:10 a.m. So at least at the time I'm recording this. So we'll jump into the slate for tomorrow. It's a bunch of games on the board. It's gotta be slim pickings these days. I'm someone who doesn't play a lot of high volume anyway, but when you got these big slates, you got to be able to maneuver through it, man. Find the plays that you love, throw out the noise and the games that don't really mean anything. Just choose your spots, choose and pick your spots wisely. So on today's show, we'll jump into about 5 of the games I think on the board for tomorrow. I didn't even go through all of them because honestly, I don't have a lot of interest betting all of them. But I knew I won't be able to do a show tomorrow. Still got a lot going on Sunday morning. So we'll get back to regularly scheduled programming probably on Tuesday. Monday is national championship game. It's only 2 games on the board for Monday, so I probably won't do a show tomorrow morning either. But we'll get back on track soon. Let's jump into it. So quick recap. The short list. Well, yesterday I made one official play, or tonight I made one official play was Memphis. We talked about liking it. A little flat spot for Detroit Pistons. And we got that one right. Money line play, half unit. The short list went 3-1 as well. Miami first half was a winner. I didn't bet it. Philly and Minnesota. Minnesota team total was the only thing that didn't cash. And then the Knicks. I said that they would be able to score against the Atlanta Hawks, and they absolutely did. Ran it up against them, even with Jalen Brunson being out. So hopefully you guys made some money. Hopefully the show was helpful yesterday. Let's jump into it for today. So we'll start off with Jackson, as we always do. Jackson is an AI sports betting handicapping assistant, partner, homie, whatever you want to call it. It's just a really good tool that'll save you tons of research if you're looking for player prop size, totals, NBA, MLB, WNBA right around the corner as well. NCAA with the national championship game coming up as well. It can just kind of handicap and save a lot of time if you're new to the show or you haven't heard of Jackson. I would definitely recommend checking it out. You can get a 50% off your first, whatever tier you want to select. Using code ChrisBeCappinn 2P's2N's. There's a link for it in the description of the video. So two prompts for tomorrow's games or today's games, whenever you're watching this video. First is on a total. So I asked Jackson, what is the best NBA total bet based on the last 10 game advanced stats? And disclaimer, you always want to do your own research. If you like what Jackson says about a play it. If it aligns with what you said, probably want to play it even more. But I wouldn't just play Jackson plays just because Jackson says a play, right? I think most people know that, but I want to reiterate it. So best total bet based on last 10 game stat. Jackson likes the over between the Utah Jazz and Atlanta Hawks. No shocker there, in my opinion. Says that the best line is -108 on FanDuel at the time of this recording. The Hawks ranked 3rd in pace in their last 10 games, averaging 102.2 possessions per game. The Jazz are 6th in pace, averaging 101.1 possessions per game. The matchup features 2 of the fastest paced teams in the league, creating a high possession environment. The offensive efficiency, the Hawks are averaging 121 points in their last 10 games. The Jazz are averaging 118.7 in their last 10 games, making them a strong scoring team as well. Defensive struggles, Hawks 28th in defensive rating last 10, allowing 119.8 points per game. The Jazz are 26th in defensive rating, giving up 118.3 points per game. Hawks have gone over 7 of their last 10, combined for 241 points. Jazz have gone over 6 of their last 10, average combined 239.5 points. So this total is on the move. It makes a bunch of sense. Jackson likes the over between Atlanta Hawks and the Utah Jazz tomorrow. Jackson likes it at 243.5. Next one is the So let's see if I can find one with less juice. So we got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tomorrow, up and over his 6.5 assists. Says he's hit this in 65% of his last 20 games. The Lakers defense is weak against his position as far as assists allowed. They're 22nd. Last 20 games, he's averaging right at 7 assists, 7.05 assists in his last 20 games. Says he's hit this line in 65% of his last 20 games and 100% hit rate against the Lakers this season, averaging 9 assists in the one game that he did play against the Lakers today. So take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander up and over his 6.5 assists against the Lakers. We'll talk about that game in just a second. There's a play that I'm looking to make that kind of aligns with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to go up and over. So that's Jackson. Check it out if you're interested. Let's jump over to the first game that I'm going to go through today. And some of these games are super ugly, man. I might even have some 1-800-GAMBLER games on the list that I went through for today. But this is the first one. It's a matinee game. I typically like to go through the matinee game, see if I can find an angle to, make, even if it's a small play on one of the earlier games. So this is the first game. It's an NBA TV game, and it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got the Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets. This line is 9.5. I think it's the current number. Yeah, 9.5 total. It's come down from 228.5 down to 227. I'm gonna be short, man. We'll get through these pretty quickly. Nick Smith Jr. is on the report for Charlotte. So is Green. Mark Williams is also. Green is actually listed as out. Nick Smith Jr. is questionable. So is Mark Williams listed as questionable. Terry is probable for the Bulls, and then Lonzo could come back as well. He's listed as questionable. Hasn't played in quite a while. Just get straight to it, man. If I'm playing the game, I think it's difficult to lay 10 points with the Bulls, but I don't want anything to do with the Hornets. In these type of games, you got to figure out, if you want to play them, you got to figure out who's the lesser of the two evils. In my opinion, it's the Bulls. They did just not cover a spread. I understand that. I don't bet on the Bulls often, but I know I don't want anything to do with Charlotte. Charlotte is 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games. This Bulls team has actually covered 8 of the last 9 games against Charlotte, and they were on an 8-game winning streak before, 8-game straight up and ATS winning streak before they lost earlier in the matchup back on January the 17th to this Hornets team. But the Hornets are without LaMelo, potentially without Mark Williams, and I just don't want anything. I just watched the team lose to the Kings, and the Kings are terrible. Charlotte is both bottom 5 defensively and in opponent transition frequency, opponent's transition efficiency as well in their last 5 games. And we know that the Bulls want to run. So the Bulls should be able to take advantage of the Charlotte Hornets in transition. Outside of that, though, it's not a lot to really like for the Bulls as far as their offense. And it's not really anything to like for the Charlotte Hornets offense. I was looking into it. I think the strongest play on the board here is the under. You can get 227.5 at the time of this recording over on ESPN Bet. I think DraftKings got a 227.5 as well. I think the total's a tad bit too high. So I was looking into a couple trends. Charlotte is actually 9-1-1 to the under in home games when they're facing an opponent that scores a lot of points. So if the opponent scores more than 116 points per game, the Hornets games are 9-1-1 to the under. Charlotte's also the second worst offensive rated team last 5 games. They're relying a lot on second chance opportunities. The Bulls are 10th in offensive rebounding rate as far as their opponents go. So those second chance opportunities might not be there. Chicago is also top 3 in limiting second chance opportunities. So I don't think Charlotte's going to be able to score the basketball. On the offensive side, for Chicago, like I said, it's not a great matchup. They're taking a lot of shots at the rim. Charlotte's defense has been relatively good, surprisingly, at the rim. And Chicago, 15-4 to the under. Just a couple trends. 15-4 to the under this season when they're a favorite in general. 79% to the under, including 5-1 if they're on the road in a game where they're favorite. So some strong trends that point towards the under. Charlotte as a home dog with a total below 230, 19-8 to the under as well. So about 71.4% there. It's under in this game for me. I think Charlotte's going to struggle to score even against the Chicago team that doesn't play too much defense. The game will be played pretty slow, I think, as well. I don't think Charlotte want to get up and down the floor with the Chicago Bulls. So I like under if I'm playing here, and probably would be laying the points before I was taking them as well, but definitely not laying 10 with the Bulls on a Sunday. Next game up is my Los Angeles Lakers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is also NBA TV game. So as soon as that first game goes off that we just talked about, we'll get this one, Lakers and Thunder. This line opened, I think, at 9. It's kind of sitting at 9. Total is moving up, moving north. 231.5 is what it opened at. It looks like it's about 233 right now. And you look at the injury report for this game, I think it's pretty healthy for both teams is what I'm trying to say. LeBron is probable. Rui is on the report, but he actually has been taken off the report. So Rui Hachimura should be back. And then Oklahoma City Thunder did have a couple guys out in their last game, and I think they're going to return in this game. So we'll see how that goes as far as injury report goes. One of the reasons why I haven't been making a lot of plays is because of the injury report. And these are the dog days, man, where the teams don't necessarily care as much. So got to take all that into consideration. The way I see this game, couple different things. I do think that 9 is a lot of points, right? The Lakers have been a dog of 9 points or more on the road 3 times this season, and they've covered all 3 spreads. 3-0 against the number are the Lakers when they're getting 9 points or more on the road. The Lakers defense does not play as well on the road. The Thunder are a well-oiled machine, specifically at home. 27-10-2 against the number, 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games, coming off a pretty poor defensive performance where they just didn't match the intensity of the Houston Rockets in that last game. And Houston smoked them, beat them by I think 14 or 15 points. What else I don't like for the Lakers? It's the third game in 4 nights for them as well, and this one is on the road. They lost to the Golden State Warriors, bounced back and beat the Pelicans. Now right back on the road to take on this Thunder team. Also, what do we know about the Thunder? We've been talking about this for a while on the show. They take these national TV games very serious. I'm not even sure what the record is. I don't know if I can even find it, but I know OKC turns up in these type of games. And it's not to say that the Lakers don't need the game. The third right now in the Western Conference, they need every game because one loss could almost put you into the play-in spot, especially with all the teams in the Western Conference winning recently outside of the Denver Nuggets. So I like that for OKC. I think that they get right in the spot, even though they don't necessarily need the game as much for the Lakers. OKC is a home favorite when they're laying less than 10. We've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. When they're laying less than 10, right? So 9.5 point favorite or less. It's happened 18 times. They're 13, 14, and 1 against the number. And if you go in and look at the numbers, speaking of numbers, they've been a much better defensive team by far. Offensively, they've been about the same as the Lakers. And what's significant is that they played the much difficult strength of schedule as well. Thunder have played the 6th strongest strength of schedule. The Lakers have played the 16th strongest strength of schedule in their last 5 games. So all in all, what I end up landing on here is the Thunder team total to go up and over. The number is 121.5. And this is predicated on a couple different things here. One is the Lakers defense, which plays a lot better at home than they do on the road. We know what those numbers look like. I just think about this Thunder's offense, and it's very high-powered, man. It's way more than shade. The Lakers have been giving up a ton of threes. We know that the Thunder can get hot from the three-point line. So you look at the last 5 games, and a couple of these games have actually been at home. The Lakers are 22nd in defensive rating in the last 5 games. And I just mentioned it's third game in 4 nights. OKC is playing at the second fastest pace in the last 5 games. And they're also top 5 offensive rated team. Last 5 games, full season, all that good stuff. So I do think this is a game where we're going to see pace. I do think this is a game where, the Thunder are going to be able to score the basketball. That's whether the Lakers can cover the spread, win the game outright, whatever the case might be, or the Thunder just smoke the Lakers. I think that their offense is going to be needed. One last thing I looked at was just the Thunder when they're at home and they're playing in a game that has a total that's greater than 231, because this total is 233, right? They've scored 123 points or better in 10 of the 11 games when they're at home with a total of 231 or higher, averaging 131 points in this spot. And I know the Lakers have been playing slow, but I think third game in 4 nights with a 22nd defensive rating in the last 5 games and on the road, I like the Thunder to score the basketball, kind of stay away from the spread. So strong lean towards OKC to get up and over 122 in this game. I think 120 is available, 120.5 is available, but it's low juice. So we'll see where the total goes. But I think the Thunder score the basketball no matter who wins or who loses in this spot. All right, next game, Suns and the Knicks. I should have probably bet this one early, but I kind of was on the fence, kind of going back and forth. And I'll be quick too. So you got the Suns here. I want to say this is the last game of the road trip for Phoenix. I could be wrong. It may be one more game. So Phoenix has no, it's the last game of a 3-game road trip. got lost to the Bucks by 10, lost to the Celtics by 20, lost to the Rockets by 38, 39, I'm sorry, and then also lost to the Timberwolves by 15. So before that, they lost to Boston as well by 30. So you could kind of say that they are cooked, man. They are done. The only hesitation here is that the Knicks, and the market doesn't care because the market has pushed this one up from the 7.5 up to 8. I saw it open at 7, I think, too. Only hesitation here is the Knicks are 1-11, I think it is. Is it 1-11? I think they're 1-11 on the second leg of back-to-back games. The Knicks, of course, did go. They have a short flight back from Atlanta. And they smoked the Atlanta Hawks tonight as well. Yeah, the Knicks are 1-11-1 against the number on the second leg of a back-to-back. But they are 9-4 to the over. They're averaging 120, 118 points, 117 points, and they're giving up 122 points. I don't think the Phoenix Suns are going to be able to score 122 points. That's just my thought process. Both of these teams are bottom 10 in pace in the last 5 games. You get Brunson back, of course. I think Deuce McBride could potentially return in this game as well. We'll see how that looks. But yeah, I think that just to be really frank and quick, I just mentioned it. Suns have lost by 20 to Boston, 10 to Milwaukee, 39 to Houston, 15 to Minnesota, 30 to Boston. In their last 5 games, they've allowed each of their opponents to score at least 123 points. So another team where they should be able to score the basketball, especially with Brunson being back. Not sure how efficient he's going to be, but I mean, they got guys that can be able to, go down there, rebound the basketball, get second chance opportunities. The Phoenix Suns are cooked, man. It's 1-2-3 Cancun in all of their huddles after they're coming out of timeouts. Nobody wants to be there anymore. It's over for the Phoenix Suns. Dallas has actually lost back-to-back games against the Clippers. And it doesn't even mean anything because the Suns can't win anyway. So the Dallas Mavericks look like they're going to make the playoffs by default because the Suns had the strongest strength of schedule and absolutely just getting obliterated by every team right now. So we'll lean Knicks team total over in this spot. I do think that they win the game by double digits as well. But I think the team total is safer. 118.5 is the team total. Lean over. Next game is the Rockets and the Warriors. And I don't think I made a graphic for the I think this is the last graphic that I made, but we'll go through a couple of the other ones real quickly as well. I did make one. I actually did. Okay. So Rockets and Warriors, really tough game. This line did open at 3 in favor of the Rockets. I'm in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Money came in, pushed it to 3.5, then 4, then 4.5. So now it's at 4.5, and it hasn't really moved a lot at all. Kind of stuck here at 4.5. Total is 226. Looks like 226.5 out there, 225.5. So the market's all kind of all over the place here. This is a difficult game, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very difficult. Both of these teams are really, really good. I lean towards the Golden State Warriors here, and the reason being is because Golden State, in my opinion, and we made some money recently with teams that need the game more. It's just a well-oiled machine that I don't really want to bet against. And you could kind of say the same thing for the Rockets, but I can pick a few more holes in what the Rockets got going on. Golden State is playing third game and fourth nights and fourth and sixth, and they play some really tough opponents. That's the only reason I haven't laid this number yet. We'll see where the market continues to go in this one, though. So going back to what I said in the beginning, Golden State needs the game more. With back-to-back wins against Denver and the Lakers, they're in the 5th spot in the Western Conference, which is crazy because Golden State was in 10th going into the All-Star break. But, however, Memphis did what they were supposed to do tonight. They beat Detroit. So they only a half a game in front of Memphis, the Golden State Warriors are. And Minnesota won tonight as well. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers. The Clippers won as well. So they only a half a game behind Golden State as well. So it's like very jumbled right now. None of the teams want to be in the play-in spot. So Golden State absolutely needs to win this game the way that they have been winning. Meanwhile, the Rockets, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to catch OKC, not enough games in the season. And the Lakers aren't going to catch them. Or whoever's in third is not going to catch them, whether it's Denver, Golden State, Memphis, Minnesota. None of those teams are going to catch this Houston Rockets team anyway. So it's not like Houston doesn't want to win every single game. But like I said, Golden State kind of needs this one. And Golden State has historically owned this Rockets team. They beat them 9 of the last 10 games. The only loss came in that controversial in-season tournament game that they played where they lost by 1 point. I think it was like 90-91 or something like that. But before that, they had beat the team 8 straight times, and they beat them again since then. I know Fred VanVleet wasn't there, but it was the game right before the All-Star break. They beat them in that game as well. And then I started to look into some of the numbers. Even though both teams are top 6 in offensive rating, both offensive rating and defensive rating in the last 5 games, and both teams are number 1 in efficiency differential. So no team is winning by a bigger margin than these two teams. Golden State gets the slight nod, in my opinion, because they played the more difficult strength of schedule. They played the 8th strongest strength of schedule versus the Houston Rockets that played the 17th strongest strength of schedule. So I know Houston got a big win against OKC, but Golden State has been beaten. I mean, they just took down the Lakers, took down Memphis. They've been taking down some really, really strong teams. And honestly, I just don't want to bet against them right now. So I lean Golden State. I also lean under. What I don't like I said, for Golden State is that it is third game in 4 nights. I think it's fourth game in 6 nights as well. And like I said, all against good teams, Lakers, Memphis, Denver. They beat Denver for the first time in a really long time. What I don't like for Houston, and the reason why I don't want to take the points for Houston here is their offense can drive at times, man. Like I've been saying this for a while. They're a much better defensive team than offensive team. We just watched it. Go back, for last week. They were in LA playing against the Lakers and couldn't score the basketball in the second half. Especially on the road, this offense can really, really dry up. So I've seen Jalen Green go out there and score 30 points. I've also seen Jalen Green finish 2 for 9 and have 7. So, I mean, it's guys like him, Dylan Brooks, when you're relying a lot on offense from him. Those are the guys I can't quite get behind all the time when I think about a team needing to win. So that does kind of point me towards an under. Both of these teams are kind of, not necessarily fast in pace. The Rockets, I think, are 7-2-1 to the over in their last 10 games. Golden State can win either way. Like, they can win with their offense. They can also win with their defense. When I match the teams up on the floor, the Warriors are a 3-point shooting team. The Rockets' 3-point defense is typically pretty good. Both of these teams are excellent rebounding teams as well. The Rockets' offense, I think, will be slowed down by Golden State. That is a top 5 defensive rated team, something that Houston hasn't seen a lot of recently. So I do lean under a little bit more than anything else. I think with the implications for this game, we should see a slow pace. Well, not even slow pace, just more of a defensive style game where Houston's not getting a ton of offensive rebounds and scoring a bunch of second chance points. Golden State should be ran off the 3-point line, and the offense should be a little more difficult to come by as well. And I think they're cool with playing that style of basketball. So under 226.5 will be my strongest recommendation. Also a slight lean towards Golden State, even though the Rockets have been absolutely money. Hard to fade that team. Last game that we're going to go through, and the only reason I'm going through this one is because I did end up making a play. So we'll be on this just for a quick second. The number that I got is gone anyway. But Milwaukee and New Orleans. Milwaukee ended up in overtime earlier today, of course, when they were coming off the win against Miami. Now no travel, now no days off. And you got to travel straight from Miami to New Orleans, which is a pretty short trip. But I put this in the handicap, in the write-up, that, before the overtime, Giannis had already played 38 minutes. The Pels have already listed Jose Alvarado is questionable. No Kelly Olynyk, and Jordan Hawkins is out as well. That's a lot of offense. And looking into the Pelicans, man, up until that Laker game, they'd actually took some of my money because I bet the Clippers team total up and over a couple games ago when they were playing against this Pelicans team. And the Pelicans defense actually came and showed up in that game. I know they just gave up 111 to the Lakers, but they're still 12th in defensive rating. I think they were 10th in defensive rating before that Lakers game. And they're playing super slow, 25th in pace. So I did bet under 223 here. This number is all the way down to 220 now. Probably wouldn't touch it at this juncture, but I do think it's going to be a slow pace, grinded out style game. I don't really think that New Orleans is going to be able to score the basketball. Last 5 games, the 26th in offensive rating. And I think the Bucks are going to play pretty slow as well. And the Pelicans will play hard, I think. A lot of those guys that are playing for the Pelicans right now, trying to get contracts in the NBA. So, I do think, the numbers come down from 11.5 down to 9.5. I don't know if I agree with that. I just think the Pelicans are going to struggle to score. And I think I think the Bucks also going to play this game pretty slow and just win it. They don't need to win by margin in this spot. So I did bet under 223, but that number is now long gone. As far as the other games, right? So let's just go through my notes real quick and tell you guys I'm not betting any of these, most likely. At least without the injury news. The Toronto and Brooklyn game, right? Interesting game in my opinion because you have all of the guys listed out. So there's no Nick Claxton for Brooklyn. There's no D'Angelo Russell. There's no Cam Johnson, right? All three of those guys are out. There's no Jakob Poeltl on the other side. Quickly's out. Scotty Barnes is listed as questionable. So as much as I want to pull the trigger, because I feel like talent-wise, Toronto still got more talent than Brooklyn, which is probably why they're favored by 2 points in this game. And they also just smoked the Brooklyn Nets a couple games ago in Brooklyn as well. I think the under is the strongest play here. Under 214. I think it's up to 215 on a couple books. I don't see where the points going to come from. You telling me that, two slow-paced teams, which I know Toronto's been playing a little bit faster, but offensively, they've really struggled to score the basketball. I think the under is the strongest play. What I wrote in my notes is Brooklyn is 16th in pace in the last 5 games, but they're going to be without a lot of offensive production, without Claxton, D'Lo, and Cam Johnson. Not sure where the scoring is going to come from. Toronto's the 10th best defensive rated team last 5 games. Toronto's played Brooklyn 3 times already this season. They gave up 101 points and 86 in 2 of the 3 games that they played against them. I would imagine that the Brooklyn Nets would score something between those 2 numbers and not the 113 they scored in the other game that I didn't mention. In Toronto, even though they are, I think, top 10 in pace last 5 games, the 7-3 to the under in the last 10 games. Brooklyn is also a perfect 10-0 against the spread. I'm sorry. Toronto is a perfect 10-0 against the spread versus teams that struggle to score when they're playing on the road. If the team averages less than 110 points, and we know Brooklyn averages about 100 points, they've covered every single game, and those games are 8-2 to the under. So under 215, I think, is the strongest play between the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. What else didn't I cover? Sacramento, Cleveland. Don't really have any thoughts on that game. Didn't really look too much into it. Washington and Boston is interesting. So this line open, I think, at 18.5, 19.5, something like that. It's up to 20.5. Only the second time this season we've seen a spread of 20 points or more. The last game was the only other game was the Washington Wizards and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Washington, the Thunder and the Hornets. The Hornets won the second leg of a back-to-back. Thunder were laying 20.5 points. They won that game by 35. So I do think, not to say that, this is going to be that, but the Celtics are at the crib. The Wizards are tanking, of course. No Porzingis. No Middleton, no Keyshawn George, but there's also a plethora of Boston players on the injury report, and this is the perfect game for them to sit out, right? Porzingis is not on the injury report, I don't think. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Jason Tatum is also listed as questionable. It really don't matter who they got out there. They should be able to beat the Washington Wizards by 40. One thing I've watched from Boston recently is that they're getting back into their principles. Like, they're playing hard on the defensive end, no matter who they're playing. There could have been an easy let up spot against the Phoenix Suns in that last game. They held Phoenix to like 95 points. And Phoenix offense is way better than Washington. Even though Washington plays fast, they probably won't be able to score the basketball. Boston doesn't give up a lot of points in transition. Boston also dominate the boards. Boston should also be able to knock down a bunch of three-pointers. So even laying 20.5, it still be Boston for me and nothing. Washington, I think, could lose the game by 35 with Boston not even playing hard. San Antonio, Portland, nothing for me in that game. Injury report is a little too crazy for me. I see Kamara on it. Jeremy Grant, doubtful. Scoot's already been ruled out. Denny Abdi is questionable. Anthony Simons is questionable. Easy skip for me. Utah, Atlanta, I think the over is the best look that Jackson talked about. I do worry about Utah being able to keep up offensively. What I've watched with Utah recently is that their offense, even though they can score the basketball at times, and it should be tons of possessions like Jackson mentioned earlier, their offense can still dry up at times. And I know Atlanta's defense is terrible, but Utah literally got G League guys out there. So that scares me off for playing the over, especially with it being above 240. Maybe an Atlanta team total up and over. Atlanta probably could score 150 in this game by themselves. Not sure how much Utah is going to contribute. So I'm off for that game, especially with no Walker Kessler as well. He's already been ruled out. I would probably be looking towards an over, like Jackson said. Indiana and Denver, not a game I look too deeply into. I did see Siakam was out, but Jamal Murray is questionable. Denver's lost 3 straight games. They need to bounce back in the worst possible way. Typically, you want to take the points with Indiana versus land, especially when they're on the road. Denver has not looked good. They're not guarding anybody. It's not a game that I'm super interested in. And that's it. That's it, man. I think I went through all of them, at least touched on all of them. The recap is here. Only thing I bet so far is that Milwaukee and New Orleans, just because I got a good number and it was going to overtime. But the other things I talked about on the show are all listed in red. I just haven't bet them yet because, as you can see, man, the injury reports are absolutely insane right now in the NBA, especially with Ja Morant being ruled out 15 minutes before the game, Jalen Duren being ruled out right before the game. Like, it's crazy right now. So if you're betting, I do wish you the best. Hopefully, just the tactics that I've been talking about, hopefully you've been able to employ them into your betting strategy, and it's helpful for you to be cautious, to, limit your plays, bankroll management, all that good stuff, especially at times of uncertainty like we're seeing in the NBA right now with the, it being this is the last week starting. So, hopefully the plays are helpful. Hopefully the shows are helpful. The handicapping is helpful. The tools are helpful. If you want all the plays that I make when I play them, use that link in the description and sign up. They'll be emailed to you as soon as I put them in. And that'll be it, man. Resources, as always, are here. Check them out. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, OddsJam, bunch of different handicapping tools that I use to come up with, the magic formula to place the bets that I'm going to place. Hopefully we can keep it going. I'm probably not going to have a bunch of plays, but I am looking to add a couple more. Whatever it is that you're betting, man, I do wish you a ton of success. Like I said, Monday it's only 2 games, so it's probably not going to be. I'm not doing a morning show for Sacramento and Detroit and Philly and Miami. Skipping that, so maybe another night video if I find something that I like as soon as the lines open. But probably just take Monday off and just look at the national championship game, for being honest. And Tuesday it's a bunch of games in the league, so we'll be back on Tuesday morning for sure. Like I said, best of luck on whatever you're betting, man. I will catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Sunday. I'm out.